friend. In today's video, we will be making gluten-free Twinkie cake. If that's something you want to see, then do not adjust your screen. Alright, so our first step is 4 whole eggs and 2/3 cup of sugar. I'm going to put that in here and I'm going to whip it till it's big and fluffy. That will take about 8 minutes, and I'm not going to make you watch that. Okay, so you're going to whip it for almost 8 minutes. It's going to actually be almost like triple in size. When you think it's done, you're wrong. Keep going until once you lift these up, the actual stuff stays on the top for like a couple of seconds. Because that's how it's leavening. Now I will of course link the original recipe down below with my modifications. Original recipe calls for half a cup of self-rising flour, which doesn't exist in gluten-free, so I have half a cup and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and then 1/8 teaspoon of salt. It also calls for 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is usually found in your gluten-free flour, but I only put in 1 because you can't add any extra liquid to this. It also says you have to sift it. I never find I have to sift gluten-free flour.
Doesn't clump like regular flour.
No. Not unless you get water in it. Then it clumps worse than regular flour. That would be the cornstarch. I'm gonna fold this in.
Hi.
Pause for a second. I have to turn on the microwave. So technically that was a lie. There is a little extra liquid, but it's not liquid you really want to mess with in a cake like this. So you're better off taking away flour than adding in liquid. So.
And by liquid you mean melted butter.
Melted butter and a tablespoon of hot water. Just folding this in. This question comes, why gluten-free Twinkie cake? Is there really a question? The reason why not in a Twinkie pan is the gluten-free cake will be too dense to fill. So instead, we're pretty much making a roll cake and then cutting it, putting it in half. And it works. You get all the Twinkie goodness, you actually get more Twinkie filling. And then it's gluten-free, and I find it's also not as dry as regular Twinkie. So you're gonna pour your liquid down one side.
What I remember a Twinkie to be, because I haven't eaten one in over a decade.
I have.
Okay.
I have, and they are kind of dry. Like, I feel like when we were kids, they didn't seem so dry.
It's because we were kids and we didn't know any better.
Yeah, that's true. When you were kids, you know, at least in the 90s, they thought it was a great idea to drink Orbits.
Yeah.
And then you're at your cousin's baseball game and see what will be his future girlfriend throwing up behind the bleachers because they sat and drank Orbits. Oh, the 90s. Twinkies are very 80s, 90s, so it's good to reminisce. So you really want to make sure that you're going all the way to the bottom in your folding so that the liquid isn't pooling there. That's why it helps to have a glass cup, as you can check. I have a little bit of pooling right here. And then for the filling is marshmallow fluff and buttercream. The actual filling is apparently actually just vegetable shortening sugar. Don't like that. I like the way I make it better. The way I make it is how you dream
a Twinkie
should taste. Yeah. And they used to call Twinkie cream food of the gods. You're like, this is what they were talking about, not vegetable shortening. All right, should be pretty good. One more couple of flips. So it should be just light and fluffy. This is kind of a sponge shortcake.
A short sponge cake?
Short sponge cake. Long, short sponge cake. It's like jumbo shrimp. It's just all the
oxymorons. You call me a morons.
That's from one of us is lying. An oxymoron.
Did you just call me a moron?
you're just going to, so I did previously, of course, butter this and put my parchment paper down and then butter it again. I do very light buttering on the bottom layer, pretty much just doing the sides, because you're just making sure that your parchment won't move all over the place when you're pouring stuff in it. Yes, and then smooth this out, and I'm gonna triple check. I'm pretty sure this bakes for about 15 minutes. And then you have to cool it all the way down, and we will be back to make the filling. You don't have to roll this, sorry. Before we stop, do not roll this. Normally, like when you read it, anything will be like, oh, roll your jelly cake. You don't need to roll it. You're just gonna cut it in half and fold it over. So it's an even easier way to make a jelly roll. Okay, now we'll be back. Okay, so my Twinkie cake is completely cooled. It did take, I did 10 minutes, but you could do 11 to 12. Just so that the top is a little firmer, like it's completely cooked through, but it's a little tacky still on one side, just because of all the sugar. So I have about half a cup of butter in here. I'm going to whip it. And then I'm going to add Marshmallow Fluff. I'll link the TikTok I got the recipe from down below. I wanted to make these Marshmallow Fluff wasn't on. Typically, I get it when it's on. And I'm eyeballing, but you typically want around a cup to a cup and a half. The one thing I will say though is if you do this recipe, my tip for any time you're boiling anything with vanilla is to not add it in at the end of your boil, because I do find that when you add it in during, you lose some of the actual vanilla flavor. Let's give this a whiz. Now, the recipe for the fluff says to use a mixer, and I would suggest that because fluff likes to climb up your beaters. If you don't have a mixer, just get your fluff when it's on sale. I am looking for my powdered sugar. Right behind me. And powdered sugar, you're going to do probably about 3/4 of a cup. But it is a add and blend. 3/4 of a cup. I don't know, actually, I'd say a cup. This is about 3/4, and I'll need a little bit more. So you don't need this as stiff as buttercream, because it's not buttercream, it's a filling. Spatula. Always scrape your sides. Of course, you'll need extra powdered sugar for what you throw all over, because that's life. Balance that. And then the other 1/4 cup. So you do want it not stiff, you want it more kind of thick and viscous. But you do want it fluffy, so I'm going to add a little more powdered sugar so it'll fluff up a little bit more. Did also put a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in here just to add a little extra depth to it. So it should be thick enough that it doesn't just fall off, but thin enough that it should slide. Then I have my Twinkie cake cut in half. And I'm going to liberally ice this. You cut it into small pieces. It's Twinkie, it's not, this isn't protein Twinkie cake. I don't know how you'd make that. Actually, probably just take vanilla wafers and put vanilla protein powder yogurt in it. It might taste kind of interesting. You can whip yogurt. I wanted to try that, make like a nice whipped dessert with yogurt. saying to my mom, me and my friend once snuck Twinkies into the movie theater in my purse. We went to like the cheap theater and went over to the gas station, bought a box of Twinkies and drinks and I think like chips or something, and emptied out the box into my bag. Though the proudest thing we ever snuck into theaters was New York fries poutine. Back before they had like meal stuff at the theaters. Nice layer. Put a little more in the middle. If you have a little extra, you can just scoop it in a bowl and have it with strawberries. It's really good. If you were looking for something more fruity, you could just put strawberries on here and it'd be strawberry Twinkie cake, and probably super great for summer, or mango. Mango would go really well. And I see myself knocking that over. So let's very carefully put that on. It over a little bit as I get it all over my hands. That's the fun part. It is what it is. You can chill it before you slice it. I'm going to slice it now. Oh, and here comes a taste tester. The reason that Twinkie cake exists. And this does go in the fridge. It actually even freezes pretty decently. I've frozen it before. Here you go. It's a little gooey still. It's just fresh Twinkie. It's that. So good, because it's soft. Like we said, Twinkies are often dry. You have that softness.
Not dry.
Not dry. At home. Gluten free. Super great.
Awesome.
Great. If you're having a 90s day. Yeah. That's why it's there. If you're having a 90s day, we have this. We have our Cosmic Brownie one too. If you want to go retro. So till next time, stay caffeinated, stay cozy.